Hey everybody. So we're getting ready to start the process of making websites for Genius Hour. And it is highly likely that most of y'all have not had any experience with that before this project, or if you have, it's probably been pretty minimal and just in the context of what might have been done like a middle school class. So what I want to do right now is give a quick overview of how Weebly works and how you're going to use that for this project. So this is Weebly. Just be aware that just like with any website, you'll hit the sign up button up here at the top in order to create your account. And it doesn't ask you for anything crazy. It's just gonna ask you for your name and for your email address and then for you to specify your country. So after you have gone through and signed up with your information, you'll see a window like this. It says, what kind of website would you like to create? For the purposes of this project, you just need a website. So after you click on that, it's gonna give you a bunch of templates to work with. Now the templates here that are available are designed by professional designers and generally look pretty solid. They're all going to need modification to fit the context of your project, but they can be as elaborate or as spare as you'd like them to be. I'm going to just grab this one for the sake of it to show you what having a few more options available will allow you to do with your website. And after I've picked my template, I can go ahead and hit start editing. So let's start editing. So in most cases, after you have chosen your template, you're going to see a window like this pop up that says select your domain name. Now, this is where you need to come up with the actual URL that's going to get to your website. Mine is going to involve video production, so let's just go ahead and see what happens if I go ahead and type in something like videos by Barker. And let's just hit search and see what pops up. So I got lucky that you'll see all of these options popped up. And that's great. But what you're gonna notice is that right here at the top, there is this little subheading that says professional domain, and then there's one here that says subdomain. Now, if you click on one of these ones that says professional domain, it's going to take you to this option to start paying for your website. And you do not want to do that. Instead, you want to pick this one down here that has the option subdomain. So I click on that, and since my website URL worked, I can go ahead and hit done, and I'm ready to go. Okay, so now I have a website. I have a template, and I can go through and start editing this for my purposes for this website. So how do you actually navigate Weebly? What are the different components that make this editor work? So up here in the top, you'll see that we have a few pages. We have the build page, which is what we're currently on. We have the pages one, and then theme, apps, and settings. The build page will be where you spend a decent amount of your time because the build page indicates all of these components that are over here on the left-hand side of the screen. If I want to manipulate anything on Weebly, you'll notice that as my mouse is hovering over this information, this is indicating that I have a title element. If I want to get rid of that element, I can hit this X button up here to delete something. I can put it back if I want to. If I want to add anything else onto my Weebly site, then I go over here to this build tab, grab the, let's say this one, the one that says title, and now I bring it all the way over here. You'll notice I let it go, and it has a title option for me to play around with. I can click on the information here and I can change the bolding of it. I can make it italicized. I can change the color altogether. There's so many different things that you can play around with. I'm not going to get into all of them right now, but just know that everything on the build page is determined by your elements. If you drag this in and you realize, oh, I actually don't need that, then you just make sure that you hover over the element until this X pops up, and then you can just go ahead and hit X, delete, and it's gone. So everything that comes on a home page like this is a lot of extra information that you probably don't need. So to make this page your own, if I go down here to like this About Us section, well, I probably don't actually need it. I can just go ahead and hit delete. And I can do that for every little section on this homepage, because ultimately all my homepage really has to communicate is what my project is and what I do. So what I would recommend at least for the purposes of this project, is just deleting most of the sections that come on one of your home pages, maybe leaving just the header and some general body of information. In my case, I have one that has a button here that you can click on to go to find out more. But you just need the most basic information on here to communicate what your project is and what you're going to be doing. If people want to read more, they can go to your blog. And so that is the other thing I want to talk about here that's probably the most important, is what is the blog and how do you set it up?